My name is Peter Gowie. I'm the narrator for today's documentary. The group question is, how does having a job in high school affect you? There are two sides to this argument, backing up both the benefits and disadvantages. We will be interviewing two faculty members and two students and ask them about their stance on the subject.
Yes.
Okay, what's your name?
I am Charles Edwin Powell III.
Okay, what's your occupation? So, what job are you applying for? Are you applying?
Right now, I'm applying at Target.
Okay. So, did you have a job like in the past?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, what was the job?
Me and my uncle had our own blacksmithing area where people would pay us to make custom orders for them, and that lasted about a couple years.
Okay. So, did you want to apply for the job, or did you need it for, I guess, money?
Yes, I needed it for money.
Okay. Okay. So, did you have any other way to make that money, or was that your only option?
That was my only option.
Okay. So, do you think other high school students should get jobs?
Honestly, yeah. I think we got too many people that are relying too much on their parents and not working a day in their life.
Okay. Did having a job affect your grades and your performance in school?
Actually, no. It made it better because my uncle made a good work schedule for me.
Okay.
And it would be like, you would want to do your grades like how you're doing your job now. And it honestly worked out for me.
Okay. Great. That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
A course from Student Tutor says, in most jobs, you will be one member of a team, whether this would be your co-workers or your employees. You will need to utilize interpersonal communication skills, both to preserve the harmony of the workplace and to ensure that you reach your goals and objectives. For the same source, Student Tutor says also claims the opposite, such as, with so much stress already placed on high schoolers to succeed in their courses and exams, adding 20 hours a week of dealing with difficult customers and juggling responses could tip things over the edge. The student who has had a job said, staying late at work meant you aren't home studying for exams or reviewing for problems that you don't understand. It also meant that the next day you would be tired and arguably less focused on the new material you're learning in class.
Here we have some pros of working while in high school. And here we have some cons of working while in high school.
We'll now be interviewing a faculty member and pulling adult opinions as well.
Okay. So, what's your name?
Mr. Della Torre.
Okay. What's your occupation?
I'm a high school art teacher.
So, what is your stance on students that have jobs in high school?
For students who have jobs in high school, if they can successfully balance and maintain that balance of work and school, I think working as a student can be positive and have some benefits.
Okay. How did your job in high school affect your performance with your grades?
I worked at a fun park that relied mostly on students. So they were very accommodating with my schedule. It wasn't too big of an issue. However, I would have to be honest and admit that there were probably weeks where I'd have projects or reports due, in addition to having to work maybe a couple of nights a week and the weekends, that maybe interfered with how much time I would like to have invested on those projects. But for the most part, I didn't see it as a major hindrance, and I was able to maintain steady grades.
Okay. So did having a job ever affect your attendance at school? Well,
it being, almost 15 years ago, it's hard to remember for certain, but I don't recall it impacting my attendance. I would have to assume it may have affected my punctuality with maybe some assignments like those projects, if they kind of overlapped on a week that I worked more, or if I wasn't feeling well, in addition to having to balance, projects or essays and work.
okay. So what do you think are the benefits to having a job in high school?
I think the major benefits are going to be developing responsibility, having a sense of independence, and the experience of having a job, interacting with a diverse group of people. Going from bosses and managers to customers to coworkers, and then one of the other huge benefits that I really appreciated from having a job in high school is the added network of a social group that I wouldn't otherwise be. I wouldn't have otherwise been able to kind of meet and get to know and have some friendships develop.
Okay. Okay then. So what do you think that the sacrifices and disadvantages having a job bring to you socially?
What are the sacrifices and disadvantages
Yeah.
to having a job socially?
If there are any.
One of the disadvantages of having a job as a student and even as an adult is you do miss out on some of those moments and celebrations with families, specifically the holidays or birthdays, things of that nature. So you do sacrifice on that. Even as an adult, you sometimes sacrifice those things, and I think it's kind of harder and a little bit more of a sacrifice when you're younger because you get your family that kind of appreciates having you around. In addition to that, the same way that having a job kind of lends you to meet new people and to kind of have like a new group of friends, you could also maybe consider that a disadvantage because with that extra time, you could potentially play sports and meet people that way or join more clubs and be a little bit more engaged at your school and meet a different group of people that you didn't really, that you might have missed out on meeting.
Did you ever consider quitting your job because of stress or another reason?
In high school, I didn't really feel a need to quit working because they were flexible with my schedule, and I, for the most part, really enjoyed my first job. It was relatively stress free, and there was it was an energetic place with a lot of people my age working there. So it was definitely a place that I didn't feel too disappointed having to go to a few days a week. I did sacrifice clubs and sports in lieu of working. So I kind of missed the bonding that I had with some of my team members and things like that. But I wouldn't say in high school I had stress, although in general through my adulthood I did have stress of work and decided to quit when I was completing my credential program and completing my degree to become a teacher. I decided that it wasn't worth trying to balance working almost full time and going to school more than full time, and something had to give, and I decided to really pursue my career and to go in 100%. And seeing that I'm still teaching, I feel like I made the right decision, and don't have any regrets about that.
Okay.
And this is the end of our documentary. Thank you for your time.